Okay, we're ready to start. FileMaker Integration Roadmap for the Future. And this is part one. I'll be doing another presentation tomorrow, which is part two. And I am Tim Sambura. I'm the CEO and software engineer at LuminFire. I've been there, I've been working with FileMaker for 27 years and a certified developer in almost all versions of FileMaker. And this is the 18th DevCon for me. I started attending DevCon since 2002 in Palm Desert. And my degree is in electrical engineering, and then I minored in theater arts. I love traveling with my family, and those are some of my hobbies and things that I do in my spare time. And I started LuminFire as a company full-time about 9 years ago. So, LuminFire, we build smart technology that delivers business results. And we have specialties in FileMaker, in WordPress, and we're members of the Apple Consultants Network as well. So, some more specialties are around the integration in enterprise IT, mapping and spatial visualization, or GIS, and security compliance. We are located in Minneapolis, St. Paul area in Minnesota, northern United States, and we have a nice office there, about 20 full-time employees, and a lot of good things have come out of Minnesota, if you aren't familiar with it. Milky Way candy bars, the Twister game was invented in Minnesota, Spam. Tonka trunks are from Minnetonka, Minnesota. We've got rollerblades were invented there, and the Honey Crisp apple, and 3M makes magic tape and such. So a lot of good things coming out of Minnesota, including the Minnesota State Fair, which is one of our clients, and we've created an iPad web / FileMaker solution for them for many years. And of course, Tater Tot Hot Dish is one of the great things to come out of Minnesota. We've got some fans out there, yeah. So I think there are even more things that are great coming out of Minnesota, and that's the things happening at LuminFire. All these balloons that we've got above the house here, which represents your solution, are things that we can do for you to help you on your adventure. And so we've taken a Pixar Disney up theme this year that we want to share our adventure book with you and take your application building on an adventure. And that adventure is really around integration, and it can help you to get to your paradise solution. So application integration, what is it? It is bringing systems together, and it's making software talk. And why would you want to do that? It's mainly because it eliminates double entry and errors in retyping, and it avoids reinventing the wheel. We have a lot of services and applications out on the web that would be great if we could talk to them and let them do the things that they do best, and then we do the best things that we need to do on the FileMaker side. So if you have FileMaker on the left here and all these services on the right, how do we make those connections? How do we get that integration to happen? Well, it's difficult, and I'm just telling the truth there. The corollary to that is that nothing is easy. We say that around the office because often when we're going to design or build something that we think it's going to be very easy, it ends up running into snags, and it turns out being more difficult. And part of that is that we're dealing with APIs, application programming interfaces, which are the building blocks for applications to talk to each other. And they talk via JSON and curl in FileMaker, and most modern apps have an API. Why is integration difficult? It's because there's constant change in the technology world. We have many moving targets, and the quality of the APIs that we have and the code varies. Then you have data mapping and synchronization, which is an issue with most FileMaker apps have totally custom data, as you know, so mapping that is a challenge. And then debugging JSON and curl is a little bit more difficult than standard FileMaker scripts. So since integration is not easy, we spent a lot of time working out some brilliant solutions, and I want to share some of those today. So as you're building your app, we can use a construction analogy. You have your existing solution, and we create a blueprint plan for what the future solution is going to be. And in some cases, you're going to remodel it. You're going to add a room on here or there. And in other cases, you might determine that your existing solution just needs to be rebuilt from the ground up. The foundation of it needs to be rebuilt. So we have a lot of things in our tool set, though, to help build our custom application for our house. And 4 of those tools from LuminFire are fmlgnite, which is a fully customizable business solution, fmFlare, which are pre-built FileMaker code modules, Brilliant Sync, that syncs data between websites and APIs, and Brilliant Gateway, which is a data API middleware. So the 3 on the right there are really the middleware we're going to call the workplace integration platform. So in the larger picture, we've got FileMaker and fmlgnite, and then web technology like WordPress, React, or JavaScript, and then fmFlare, Brilliant Sync, Brilliant Gateway. All those things working together to make complete solutions. So if you have the workplace innovation platform, these other tools, I think, fit in a category of workplace integration platform. So let's look first at fmlgnite. It's our fully customizable FileMaker-based solution. And FileMaker, again, is the foundation of the solution. And fmlgnite, you can think of it as a business software or application software template. It's a framework or a starting point. And we have several different versions of fmlgnite. We have fmlgnite Starter, which is a free template that you can download. And version 2.0 is ready for release as of DevCon. fmlgnite SaaS, which is a bundled version of fmlgnite Starter with hosting and FileMaker licensing. And then fmlgnite Pro, which is the Mac Daddy solution. And there are 4 different flavors of that we have today: creative agencies, manufacturing, service industries, and art galleries. So if you look at fmlgnite Starter, it's the free solution, like I mentioned. It's fully open and modifiable, and it's well designed with using best practices in the FileMaker world. It's ready to integrate with fmFlare and Brilliant Sync, and its migration path is more simple to go to fmlgnite Pro. fmlgnite Pro, that's much more feature-rich, professional solution. You get the advantage in using it of owning your own data and having your company have an asset in it that is valuable. You lower your overall cost of deployment, and we can deploy it a lot faster because we're not starting from scratch. We're actually starting with over 10,000 hours of coding and nearly $2 million in R&D. And you can see it's built to enhance and modify as well. Our newest product actually came out at DevCon last year. It's called fmFlare, but we're in version 2.0, or at 2.0.1.2, advanced code modules for FileMaker of fmFlare. And it's all script steps. There are no plugins at all in fmFlare. And we maintain those scripts with, even if there's changing APIs. We have over 70 services and 100 functions that we're supporting currently, and we're adding more daily. So if you have something you want to integrate with, likely we have done it before, so it's good to ask or good to look online to see. So you've got FileMaker on the left here, and it talks to fmFlare via scripts, just standard scripts. And then APIs, fmFlare is talking to all the APIs, all the different services that are out there. It's distributed as a file that you just add on your FileMaker server or next to wherever your solution file is, and you make an external data connection to it. And then there's also an fmFlare example file that comes with it that is connected to the same fmFlare master file, and you can use that to test connections and learn how to use those scripts. So the setup is just connecting to fmFlare from your main solution in the managed external data sources. And then this is what the example file looks like. You can browse in here to find different services and see which functions are supported. You can also browse those on our website to explore the different services that we support there. That's where you'll find the documentation and abilities to get a license key. So here's an example looking at the fmFlare Slack module. And you would type in your external Slack information account into this example file. Then you can test the connection, make sure everything's working, and go into the scripts of the example file and just do a simple copy and paste from that example script into your actual solution. And then you're just changing different parameters in that script so that they call the controller script, the master controller script. And so you don't have to worry about the most complex part of integrations, which is creating all the JSON and curl commands that talk to the external solution. So I've got an example here of fmlgnite Sports, and it's a solution that we built using fmlgnite Starter and fmFlare. And it came out of a real need of a volleyball team, about 70 girls. Volleyball is one of the biggest sports in Minnesota. I think there's over 30,000 girls that play it. And so we built off of fmlgnite Starter a solution that tracks all of the players and the parents, and it tracks their jerseys and their clothing sizes, prints lots of different reports to manage the team. And so here's a view of the list where they've assigned the teams. And you can sort by that, and you see across the top you've got, you can email them, you can use text messaging, you can get maps, and visit the website. So we're using several different fmFlare services here. Gravity Forms to import from a WordPress website their applications, Twilio to send text messages to athletes and parents, and then Mailgun to send transactional emails that are tracked and that have are not likely to go to spam, and then Maps to show carpool info. And so we're using WordPress because it's almost ubiquitous in the web world. It powers 47% of all CMS sites, content management sites, and almost 28% of the internet. And it can update it without breaking. It's really a thriving and engaged community of users, very similar to FileMaker in a lot of ways. And Google ranks it highly, and themes change the look and feel, and then there are thousands of plugins out there for WordPress to give it additional functions. So this is what the site looks like. We have a plugin called Gravity Forms that we're using to build the forms on the site. And it's a powerful drag and drop interface. It's the industry leader in forms generation for WordPress, and it's really flexible. So this is what the sign up sheet looks like. I have a video demo here. I didn't trust the internet at all, which is probably a very good thing, so I made this a video. If we don't hear the audio on this, I might just actually talk over it. Yeah, I think you might have turned down the audio on the computer, but okay, so we went and created a new form, and we're drag and drop those names will come over the imports. And I can copy the form. So you can see from Gravity Forms, you get a simple drag and drop interface to build this web form that we're going to bring into FileMaker using fmFlare. And we do have a custom WordPress plugin that comes with it to give it that extra capability to change the names of all the fields to something that's friendly to FileMaker. So there are a lot of different ways to get Gravity Forms data into FileMaker. You could copy and paste it from email. You could export it as a CSV file and import it. You can write your own API calls using JSON curl, but there are some hurdles like this field naming convention. And so we've bundled those all together using fmFlare and that helper plugin. You can import forms much easier. And then Brilliant Sync is the advanced way to do it, where you could do bidirectional. The Brilliant Sync actually does the translation of the information for you. So here's the copy paste from email. Not very reliable. It's a lot of manual labor, especially if you have a lot of fields. If you export a CSV, that's a little bit easier. But again, it's a manual process. You might need to do it multiple times during a day if you had multiple forms coming in. But using fmFlare, that's really the easiest. And here's the example file where you would enter the information for the website and the connection to Gravity Forms, and then you can test that form and the data coming in. You copy and paste that script into your own solution, and we did that for this fmlgnite Sports. And then we put a button over there at the top to just click on its import forms, and it goes out to the website, finds any new records, and imports them. It says nine form entries are retrieved, and you would see those records come directly into the database. So that's really the easiest way to do it. You can do it multiple times during the day. You can set up custom workflows. Twilio is what we're using for sending SMS messages in the database. So it's a simple, you could do a found set and choose to text an SMS. You type the message in, and you can text only the students. You can text the parents, or text the students and the parents together. Very similar thing for email. We can enter an email address, and it's sent via any of the services that we support in fmFlare for transactional email. You could switch out and use Mailgun or SparkPost or Mandrill, and they're actually all the same API, the same call. You just do a different service parameter in there. So it makes it easy if you want to change from using Mailgun to SparkPost or something like that, because you don't have to recode your solution. fmFlare Maps has a lot of different functions in it for geolocation, looking up addresses and finding their latitude and longitude. And then it has a maps module that lets you map that very nicely. And different from a lot of other solutions, we're using free base maps, we're using public domain. So you don't have to pay Google for the base maps, so that saves on costs. And here's a demo of what those maps look like in this context.
I'll show you a quick demo of the Maps fmFlare module. We're looking at several different contacts here. I'm going to find the active contacts, and then the team, sort by the team name. And if I click on map, it will take the 52 active contacts and map them. So I can make this map. Zoom in here and click on an individual person. As I click on view, it will show that player in the background. And I can go directly to them. Or I can expand this. The pin here matches the color of the team that they're on. So this is really useful for helping to find people who might want to carpool. You can look at a different base map. There are lots of different options, and every single one of these maps that is in here is free for use. It's not, you don't have to pay Google Maps feeds. We've got the satellite view. We could zoom in here and see if one of these homes. Well, they've actually got some swimming pools here. So that's it.
So we have a demo at our booth of fmFlare maps. If you take the DevCon survey, okay, we are actually mapping some fun questions related to Disney and your FileMaker expertise level, and possibly your, we want to see if there's a correlation between FileMaker developers and the arts or music, because it seems like there is quite a lot of people that are interested in playing an instrument and stuff. So we can see on the map if we're going to have a regional band, basically. So it would be kind of fun. If we can get the internet to work reliably in here, again, even the geocoding needs to go out. All these services in general need a good internet connection because you're talking to APIs on external services. So if you stop by our booth, you can give that a try, maybe at one of the times when there aren't so many people on Wi-Fi in here. And so here's an example. You see there's a lot of high concentration of Goofy people in the Minneapolis area that like Goofy as their favorite character. We've got, so details on fmFlare. We have the starter version of fmFlare, which is free, and you can download that. We have a pro tier, which is based on the number of users, and it includes a number of functions in there, and then an elite tier where we can customize, we can build custom connectors, and you would have everything in starter and pro as well. So the message of the film Up is that the real adventure is in the relationship that we have with other people. And Pete Docter is the Chief Creative Officer at Pixar and the director, and he happens to be from Bloomington, Minnesota. But we know that relationships matter in the relationships graph for sure. But for me, the relationships I have with my family and my kids are very important as well. And my daughter gave me this birthday present. She wrote out a number of things that we could do, and I could pick 3 or less of them to do on my birthday. And I was just very happy to see that I had some influence here that You Teach Me More FileMaker Programs was on the list. So we value our long-term trusted relationships that we have with our partners, our clients, the people that we work with, and we are going to give you some free gifts out of this. fmlgnite starter, fmFlare starter, and then an ebook called Solving the Technology Puzzle. You just go to luminfire.com/devcon, and adventure is out there. We can help partner to bring you where you need.